What's good? It's Jordan. Today I'll be talking to you about how social conditioning plays a role on society. See, we have to understand in this life today who we're raised by, the crowd that we're around, the environment that we have built for ourselves, or the environment that we partake in and surround ourselves around is important because these things shape our mind, these things shape our life, and it can take a hold of us for better or for worse. We have to understand in this life that if we don't have a true sense of identity within ourselves, we'll be lost towards many various different things in society. And it's important that we understand that we still can be flawed individuals even though we have identity, even though we know ourselves, even though we are leaning more towards the path of actually understanding ourselves. If we don't lean towards the path of understanding ourselves, even with flaws and all, then we'll truly be lost. We have to understand in this life today that it's important that we know and understand that everything that you were taught, everything that you were around, it shapes your world, it shapes your future. There are many various people that actually were brought up in a way that was negative, but they were able to change that to a positive, and they're able to actually make the difference in their own personal lives and in their families' lives. We have to understand today that programming is strong, conditioning is strong, but if it is negative, we have the ability to break free from it. We have the ability to change the direction of our future. We have the ability to change the direction of our life. Sometimes when we make those changes, people may not like it because they're fine with seeing us in a certain format, in a certain way, and that's fine. People's perspective on you has nothing to do with you, but your perspective on yourself is far much more important. What you see within yourself is far much more important than everybody else's perspective on you. People may try to group together to try to destroy you, to try to destroy your character, to try and destroy your reputation, to try and sabotage you. But the important thing is you understanding self. The important thing is you understanding what you're supposed to be around and what you're not supposed to be around. And when you're making the change in your personal life and you understand this change, there's going to be many various changes that you need to make. Your environment, people that you surround yourself around, and the decisions that you decide to make. With social conditioning now, when you were born and raised, you were formulated into a certain mind frame that you may have been taught by your parents, by family members, by friends, by associates. And if that thought process is negative, then that may shape your future in a negative way. But like I said, there's still people within this world that were able to break free of those negative chains and bondages and were able to actually do something with their life in a positive way. So don't look at it as you can be stuck in that negative cycle forever. We all have the ability to change from negative to positive, but we have to make that change first. We have to understand the social conditioning we've been placed under, and we actually have to understand if we want to be within that social conditioning or if we want to remove ourselves from it. There are many social groups that have negative traditions that they uphold, and an example of that is being in a group where that group that you're around is known to gossip. When you're around a group that is known to gossip, to diminish others, to try to destroy other people, then you start to take on those ideologies and you start to do that in your own personal life because of what you saw, because of what you're used to. And it's not even just social groups. You can be around friends, family members, and associates, and just pick up those negative traits and negative habits, and you go into the world with those negative traits and negative habits. And this is one element of social conditioning that I'm giving an example of. the basic example, and you continue with that mind frame of just being a gossiper. You just only speak on other people. You only speak on other people in a negative way, and you actually don't formulate opinions and ideas based on positivity. The only ideas and formulations that you make is based on negativity. And when you continue to walk in that format, then nothing around you is going to be positive. And when we continue with this negative social conditioning that we've been placed under, then it's hard to break free of it. It's hard to break free of it because we may not want to break free of it or care to break free of it, or we may just use that as a basis in our life. You may be around people who constantly do that, and you pick up these negative habits and traits, and it's hard to break free of that because that's all you know, and that's all you've been continuing to do year after year after year after year. And we don't understand the time that we spend on doing negative things and being negative. We are wasting so much time doing negative things and being negative that we can't even see the positive things within our own life and within what we do at the time that is given to us. So it's important that you understand that people do play a major role on your life, whether it be positive or negative. Influences do play a role on your life, whether it be positive or negative. But we have to understand this first and move accordingly, because we may be blindsided by the negativity and think that being negative is a positive thing and being positive is a negative thing. Because as we walk in society, we will meet many various different people who have many various different ideologies from you. And it's important to understand the mentality that somebody is placed under, because oftentimes we do not have self-awareness to understand these things. We do not have self-awareness to understand the importance of understanding different mentalities. And I'm saying understanding different mentalities not to really judge these people, but to understand how these people think and the thought process that they're under. It's important that we understand that everybody isn't going to have the same mind frame and everyone isn't going to think the same. But if we're able to understand this and we're able to think ahead and we're able to understand that, hey, somebody else is different from me, so what we can do is try to understand the mentality that they're under, and they can try to understand the mentality that we're under, then things can live in harmony and peace. But there's other times where somebody may look at you for having a different mentality than they do, and they may judge you for it. So that's where the negativity aspect comes out of that. So it's important to understand that really and truly what you were placed under as a child does have an impact on your life in the future, whether it be positive or negative. But you have to understand, is it positive or negative? You have to understand these things early, because as you're growing up, especially growing up in dysfunction, you start to take on dysfunctional traits. And as years go by, those dysfunctional traits continue to eat you alive, and it continues to destroy you. And these things happen to us all across the board. It's best that we understand these things and we try to change these things early, because if we don't, and we decide that we want to take the time to have our own families, we want to take the time to build our own foundations and our own structures, we cannot build a foundation and structure based upon dysfunction. This continues the repeated negative cycle, and we have to break out of this repeated negative cycle. Because in society, what we also have to understand is many various different people are competing. They're competing to have a better economical status, better social status, and they're competing amongst various different lines. And if you don't understand that many people are competing, then you will be lost to what's going on. So we have to understand all the aspects in society today. Because if we don't understand all the aspects in society today, then we will be under illusions, deceptions, and it is not time to be under any illusions or deceptions. It's time for us to understand what is going on. It's time for us to understand ourselves. It's time to understand what we need to work on, what we have the ability to work on, and the things that we cannot change. So today, I want to leave you with this scripture, and I hope that this message resonates with you well today. 1 Corinthians 2:14. The natural person doesn't accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him, and he isn't able to understand them because they are spiritually discerned. I want to thank you for watching today. Peace.